We started dating when I was 16 and you were 17. We dated throughout college, and then we got married on December 16th, 2017. And from there, I had always dreamed of having a big family. So after about a year, we did have our first pregnancy. But at that point, I was having a lot of issues with the pregnancy. I had developed a subchorionic hemorrhage. And from that, we did end up losing our first baby, Louise. I think it's definitely a moment I will never forget, looking down and seeing this baby that I had created with my husband and with God. A year after we miscarried, close to a year, that I ended up having surgery, and they did find stage 4 endometriosis. And I remember that diagnosis being really hard because you don't know with that diagnosis if you're ever going to be able to conceive again, or if you're ever going to be able to carry to term. My whole life I had prayed for my future spouse and for my future children, and you just kind of think growing up that it's going to be handed to you on a platter almost, because you followed you did everything right, so to speak. You waited till marriage, you got married, you tried to grow your family, and it didn't go according to plan for us. And I remember initially just being so angry with God, not understanding why he would allow that to happen, when there were others that I knew who didn't even want children but were having them. A couple of months after the surgery, we conceived again, our second pregnancy, and we were really excited. We're like, okay, what are the chances of losing 2 babies in a row, right? Just a few short days after we got that positive pregnancy test, we lost that baby too. So we named him Simon John. We conceived a third time. Kiara was what we named her. And then one day I woke up and started bleeding, and we lost her, and that was incredibly painful too. It started becoming like, okay, this is our third loss. Are we ever going to carry to term? I don't know. And we ended up losing 3 more babies. We lost, after Kiara, it was Mary Elizabeth. After Mary Elizabeth, it was Augustus James, and after Augustus, it was our most recent pregnancy loss. It was Joseph Allen. Yep.
It almost became to a point where you almost like hoped that you wouldn't see a positive pregnancy test, because you just kind of knew how it would end. It's kind of like, it's just like, how long we're gonna have this one, you know?
We had always said we would be open to adopting when we were dating, but now that we were married and I was experiencing all these miscarriages, I don't think my heart was quite there yet. I really wanted to try for that biological child.
In our old neighborhood, one of their good friends, they fostered, and we went over to their house, and we talked about their experiences with it, and we met their foster children. We could see in their eyes how much they loved these kids and how happy they were.
Mm-hmm. And seeing these foster and adoptive families were like, at least that for me was kind of my turning point of like, okay, God's taught us how to say goodbye to these 6 children that I carried within my womb, but they're no longer in our arms. And we had such a strong desire to love children that needed loved. We started reaching out to different foster care agencies. So on the day that we had lost our 6th baby, Joseph Allen, that was the day that we had been called about these 2 foster children that needed a home. But with these 2 children that we were called about, they did originally tell us that it was looking more towards a foster to adopt placement. So we quickly let down our walls with these kiddos because we thought they'd be our forever children. Days went on, like I had these 2 totally adorable children depending on me, and it just happens. You fall in love with them, and it's almost a magical process of you just love them, and before you know it, they're not just children that you're fostering, they are your children.
We found out these kids had other siblings as well.
Mm-hmm. We ended up taking the older sister, who was 12 at the time.
I think by that time, they were fully settled in here. They're calling us mom and dad now.
Yeah.
They're saying this is my house. They would call my parents, grandma, grandpa, and so on. Same with your parents.
Yeah.
So it's like they were like fully integrated into every aspect of our family, of our friends, and our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then we get the call. It's like, the mom.
She's working her case plan.
And at first you're like darn.
I know. It was devastating to us, and but humbling ourselves here. It shouldn't have been devastating to us, but it was, because we learned that love transcends biology, right? That these kiddos did not have to be born to us or even have their early days with us, their newborn days, for us to just totally and completely love them, and for them to become part of our family.
A return date came up.
Yeah, because we knew the date that they'd be leaving, and that almost...
It was like each day got harder and harder, because you just slowly see the loss you're about to have again. And
it was interesting grieving that compared to the miscarriages. They were still living. It wasn't like they had passed away, but in a sense to us, it felt like they were almost going to, because we thought we would never talk or hear from them again.
Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong.
The next day after we returned the kids to their birth mother, we got a text from her with pictures of the kids. And a really beautiful relationship from there formed. Seeing those kids happy and loved, and their mother now doing well, it's just a reminder of how good God is, and how God does bring beauty from the hard and from those devastating life situations. Not too long before the foster children returned to their birth mother, we got a phone call that there was a birth mother interested in having us adopt her child. So we got in contact with the birth mother. We got her name and number. She reached out to us, and we decided to meet at a local restaurant. So we just got to know her as a person, got to know her story. We told her that we were open to and wanting an open adoption, one that she would be able to have a relationship with her child. Theo ended up being born on January 23rd, 2022. So we met Theo on the same day that we adopted him. Holding him was like heaven on earth. It just felt so natural, and even as his birth mother was sitting next to me as I met our son for the first time, it just was a beautiful experience as we shared our motherhood of him together. Her beautiful yes, and loving her son so much that she realized what was best for him was not her. Just such sacrificial and brave love is something I can't quite comprehend. The amount of love she had for him to do what was best for him and not for herself. So I admire her more than anything.
We invite her to every major event in Theo's life, and we really try to make her feel like part of the family, because she is part of the family.
She is, truly. And we think that it's important for Theo to have that relationship with her. When we did adopt him, we were 7 weeks pregnant at that same time. And we did know we were pregnant, but with our history of recurrent loss, we didn't really have any hopes that I would carry to term. The pregnancy with the reproductive immunology treatment I was getting to suppress my immune system was working for this pregnancy, which was really exciting. 6 short months later, our son Levi was born. Life with 2 boys has been the absolute best. We are so grateful to see the ways that God has taken not only our story of brokenness and heartache, but turned it into a story of beauty and redemption. We learned that love does hard things. When we truly love, it is a matter of dying to ourselves to put the needs of others before your own.
Looking forward to it to continue to expand as we do more fostering and
Yeah.
whatever other surprises God has for us.
Yeah.